You know, there's something beautiful about this moment right now. Right here, right now, you're exactly where you need to be. I know you might be thinking about all the things that haven't happened yet, all the dreams that seem delayed, all the doors that appear closed. But what if I told you that everything, absolutely everything, is unfolding exactly as it should? What if the very thing you're resisting is the thing that's preparing you for what you've been asking for? God said, relax. Those three simple words contain more wisdom than 1,000 books on achievement and success. Relax. Not give up. Not stop trying. Not abandon your dreams. But relax. Release the grip. Loosen the stranglehold you have on how and when things should happen. Because here's what I've learned after years of teaching and living this truth. The universe has a timing that is infinitely more precise than anything our minds could ever calculate. You see, we live in a world that tells us to hustle harder, push more, force things to happen. We're taught that if something isn't happening, it's because we're not doing enough. So we push and strain and exhaust ourselves, trying to make things happen on our timeline. And in that pushing, in that resistance, we actually block the very flow that would bring us what we desire. It's like trying to force a flower to bloom by pulling at its petals. You don't make things grow faster by stressing about them. You make them grow by providing the right conditions and then trusting the process. When you plant a seed in the ground, you don't dig it up every day to see if it's growing. You water it, you give it sunlight, and you trust that beneath the surface, something magnificent is happening. There's an intelligence in nature that knows exactly how long that seed needs to be in the darkness before it breaks through to the light. And that same intelligence is working in your life right now. The same force that turns an acorn into an oak tree, that transforms a caterpillar into a butterfly, that keeps the planets in their orbits. That force is orchestrating the events of your life with perfect precision. But we forget this. We look at our circumstances and we think we know better. We think we know when things should happen. We think we know how they should unfold. And when they don't match our mental picture, when our timeline doesn't align with divine timing, we panic. We think something's wrong. We think we're being denied. We think we're not good enough or we're being punished. But what if none of that is true? What if the delay is actually divine protection? What if what you think is a denial is actually a redirection towards something better? I want you to think about this for a moment. How many times in your life have you wanted something so badly, and when you didn't get it, you were devastated? And then, months or years later, you looked back and thought, thank God that didn't work out. Maybe it was a relationship that ended, and you thought your world was over, only to meet someone later who was perfect for you. Maybe it was a job you didn't get, and you were crushed, only to find a better opportunity that you would have missed if you'd gotten that first one. Maybe it was a house that fell through, only to find your dream home a few months later. Life is full of these examples, and yet we still don't trust. We still think we know better than the infinite intelligence that's running the show. God's timing is not about making you wait for the sake of waiting. It's not some cosmic test to see how much suffering you can endure. Divine timing is about preparation. It's about getting you ready for what you've asked for. Because here's the truth. If you received everything you wanted the moment you wanted it, you wouldn't be ready for it. You'd either destroy it or it would destroy you. Think about lottery winners who lose everything within a few years. They got the money, but they weren't prepared for it. They hadn't developed the consciousness to sustain that level of abundance. The same principle applies to everything in life. The relationship you desire requires you to become a certain kind of person. The success you want requires you to develop certain qualities. The life you're dreaming of requires you to expand into a larger version of yourself. And that expansion takes time. Right now, in this very moment, you are being prepared. Every experience you're having, every challenge you're facing, every moment of waiting is developing something in you. It's building patience, it's deepening faith, it's strengthening character, it's cultivating wisdom. You're being shaped and molded into the person who can handle the blessings that are coming. And when the timing is perfect, when you're truly ready, when all the pieces are in place, what you've been asking for will arrive so effortlessly, it will almost seem magical. But it's not magic. It's divine orchestration. The problem is, we measure everything by clock time. We think in terms of minutes and hours and days and years. But God operates in a different kind of time. It's not linear. It's not measured. It's eternal. From the perspective of infinite intelligence, there is no too late. There is no missed opportunity. There is only perfect timing. When you align yourself with this truth, when you really trust it in your bones, you stop struggling, you stop forcing, you stop exhausting yourself trying to make things happen. And in that state of relaxation, of allowing, you actually become a magnet for everything you desire. Think about water for a moment. Water is the most powerful force on earth. It can carve through mountains, it can shape landscapes, it can wear down the hardest stone. But water doesn't force. Water flows. It takes the path of least resistance. It goes around obstacles. It's patient. It's persistent. And eventually, it gets where it's going. That's how you need to move through life. Not with force, but with flow. Not with resistance, but with trust. Not with anxiety, but with peace. When you're in alignment with divine timing, you'll notice something interesting happens. You stop feeling anxious about the future. You stop obsessing about when things will happen. You stop comparing yourself to other people and their timelines. You start feeling peaceful right where you are. You start enjoying the present moment instead of constantly living in the future. You start noticing the blessings that are already here instead of only focusing on what's missing. And from that state of presence and peace, you actually accelerate your manifestations because you're no longer blocking them with your resistance. Let me tell you something about faith. Real faith isn't believing that God will give you what you want when you want it. Real faith is trusting that God will give you what you need when you need it. It's trusting that the intelligence that created you, that breathed life into you, that sustains you in every moment, that intelligence knows what it's doing. It's not confused. It's not making mistakes. It's not overlooking you. It sees you. It knows you. It loves you. And it's working everything out for your highest good, even when you can't see how. You want to know what surrender really means? It doesn't mean giving up. It doesn't mean becoming passive. It doesn't mean you stop taking action. Surrender means releasing your attachment to outcomes. It means doing what you feel called to do and then letting go of how and when the results will come. It means planting your seeds and then trusting the soil. It means showing up fully in your life while simultaneously releasing the need to control every detail. It means saying, I'll do my part and I'll trust you to do yours. There's a difference between being interested in something and being committed to it. When you're interested, you do it when it's convenient. When you're committed, you do it no matter what. But there's an even higher level than commitment. It's called surrender. Surrender means you're committed to your vision, you're committed to your growth, you're committed to showing up, but you're not attached to controlling the timeline. You're not stressed about the how. You're not worried about the when. You've handed it over to something greater than yourself, and you trust that greater power completely. This is where miracles happen. Not when you're gripping and grasping and trying to force, but when you're relaxed and open and trusting. When you create space for something greater to work through you. When you get your ego out of the way and let divine intelligence do what it does best, your job is not to figure out how everything is going to work out. Your job is not to control every variable. Your job is to listen to your inner guidance, take inspired action, and then relax into the knowing that it's all being handled. You know what's interesting about anxiety? Anxiety is living in the future. It's projecting yourself into a time that doesn't exist yet and creating fearful scenarios in your mind. Depression is often living in the past, ruminating on what went wrong, what you lost, what you should have done differently. But peace, real peace, exists only in the present moment, right here, right now. And in this present moment, you are okay. In this present moment, you are breathing. In this present moment, you are alive. In this present moment, you are held by a power greater than yourself. God said, relax, because God knows that your constant worrying doesn't change anything except your health and your happiness. Your stress doesn't speed things up. Your anxiety doesn't make things happen faster. In fact, it slows everything down because you're operating from a frequency of lack and fear instead of abundance and trust. When you're worried about money, you're in the vibration of not having money. When you're anxious about a relationship, you're in the vibration of being alone. When you're stressed about your health, you're in the vibration of sickness, and the universe responds to your vibration, not your words. You can say affirmations all day long, but if underneath those words you're vibrating with fear and doubt, you're not going to attract what you want. But when you truly relax, when you truly trust, when you truly surrender, you shift your vibration. You move into a state of allowing, and in that state, things can come to you. Opportunities can find you. People can show up. Doors can open. Synchronicities can occur because you're not blocking the flow with your resistance anymore. Here's something I need you to understand. Everything you want already exists in the quantum field of all possibilities. It's already there. Your dream life, your ideal relationship, your perfect health, your financial abundance, it's all already there in potential form. Your job is not to create it, your job is to align with it, to match the frequency of it, to become it in your consciousness before you see it in your reality. And you can't do that from a place of desperation and striving. You can only do that from a place of peace and knowing. When you know something is yours, you don't chase it. You don't worry about it. You don't obsess over it. You just know it. Like you know the sun will rise tomorrow. You don't stay up all night worrying about whether the sun will rise. You just trust that it will. That's the level of certainty you need to cultivate about your desires. Not hoping they'll come. Not wishing they'll come. But knowing they're already on their way. Knowing that in divine timing, everything you've asked for is being delivered. And while you're waiting, while things are being arranged, while you're being prepared, what do? You live. You enjoy your life right now. You appreciate what you have. You find joy in the simple things. You love the people around you. You do work that matters. You take care of your body. You feed your mind. You nourish your spirit. You don't put your life on hold until your dreams come true. You live fully in this moment, because this moment is all you have. This moment is where life is happening. Not in the future when everything works out, not in the past when things were different. Right here, right now. There's a beautiful paradox in spiritual life. The more you let go of needing things to be different, the faster things change. The more you accept where you are, the quicker you move forward. The more you love yourself as you are, the more you transform. Because you're no longer sending the universe the message that you're incomplete, that you're lacking, that you're not enough. You're sending the message that you're whole and complete right now, and anything that comes is just an addition to your already abundant life. God isn't withholding from you. God is preparing you. God isn't making you wait to punish you. God is making you wait to bless you more than you can currently handle. God isn't denying your prayers. God is answering them in ways you haven't recognized yet. God isn't late. God is right on time. Every single time. Not your time. Divine time. And divine time is always, always perfect. You see, when you look back on your life, you'll be able to connect the dots. You'll see how everything had to happen exactly as it did to bring you to where you are. You'll see how the delays were actually protections. How the closed doors led to better doors. How the pain created the depth, how the waiting developed the wisdom, how every single thing, even the things you thought were mistakes or failures, were actually perfectly placed stepping stones on your path. But you can only see this in hindsight. In the moment, you have to trust. You have to have faith. You have to relax and know that it's all working out. And here's what trust really looks like. Trust doesn't mean you never feel afraid. Trust means you feel the fear and you move forward anyway. Trust doesn't mean you never have doubts. Trust means you acknowledge the doubts and you choose faith instead. Trust doesn't mean everything always feels easy. Trust means that even when it's hard, you believe there's a purpose to the difficulty. Trust is not the absence of uncertainty. Trust is peace in the midst of uncertainty. It's calm in the center of the storm. It's knowing that no matter what's happening on the surface, there's a deeper current that's carrying you exactly where you need to go. You don't have to understand how it's all going to work out. You just have to know that it will. You don't have to see the entire staircase. You just have to take the next step. You don't have to have all the answers. You just have to stay connected to the source of all answers. And that source is always available to you. It's not somewhere out there. It's inside you. It's the quiet voice that speaks in the silence. It's the gentle nudge that guides you. It's the feeling in your heart that says yes this way or no, not yet. That's divine intelligence communicating with you. And when you learn to listen to it, when you learn to follow it, your life becomes so much easier. Stop trying to force open doors that are meant to stay closed right now. Stop trying to convince people who aren't ready to see you. Stop trying to make something happen before it's time. There's a season for everything. A time to plant and a time to harvest. a time to act and a time to rest, a time to push forward and a time to wait. And the wisdom is in knowing which season you're in and acting accordingly. Right now, if things aren't moving the way you want them to, maybe you're in a season of preparation. Maybe you're in a season of learning. Maybe you're in a season of healing. Maybe you're in a season of waiting, and that's okay. Honor the season you're in instead of resisting it. There's tremendous power in acceptance. Not resignation, but acceptance. Resignation says this is terrible and there's nothing I can do about it. Acceptance says this is what is and I can work with what is. Acceptance doesn't mean you stop wanting things to be better. It means you stop fighting against what is. It means you stop wasting energy on resistance and instead channel that energy into response, into taking whatever action feels right from a place of peace rather than panic. You want to know what's blocking most people from receiving what they desire? It's not lack of talent. It's not lack of opportunity. It's not lack of resources. It's lack of trust. It's the constant anxiety that it won't work out. It's the persistent belief that you have to do it all yourself. It's the exhausting habit of trying to control everything. When you release that, when you truly let go and trust, you'll be amazed at how quickly things start to shift. Not because you're doing more, but because you're allowing more. God said, relax. And in that relaxation, in that surrender, in that trust, you open yourself up to receive. You become a vessel that divine intelligence can work through. You become a channel that blessings can flow through. You become available to miracles. Because miracles happen all the time. They're happening right now. But you can only see them when you're not blinded by your own agenda, your own timeline, your own ideas about how things should be. What if everything that's happening is actually preparing you for something so good, so beautiful, so perfect, that you couldn't have even conceived of it with your limited mind? What if the universe is conspiring in your favor in ways you can't see yet? What if every disappointment is actually an appointment with something better? What if every ending is actually a new beginning? What if every no is actually redirecting you to a bigger yes? What if you're not behind? What if you're not running out of time? What if you're exactly on schedule for your highest destiny? Your soul has a blueprint. Before you were born, before you took your first breath, there was a plan for your life. Not a rigid, fixed plan that can't be changed, but a general outline of what you came here to experience, to learn, to give, to become. And that plan is unfolding perfectly. Every twist and turn, every up and down, every joy and sorrow, it's all part of your unique path. And you can trust that path. You can trust the timing of that path because it's being guided by an intelligence that sees the beginning and the end simultaneously. From the human perspective, we can only see a few steps ahead. We're limited by time and space. We can only process information sequentially. But the divine perspective sees everything all at once. It sees all the consequences of all the choices. It sees all the connections between all the events. It sees how everything fits together in the grand tapestry of your life. And it's weaving that tapestry with such precision, such care, such love. Every thread matters. Every color has a purpose. Even the dark threads create the contrast that makes the bright threads shine even brighter. So when you're in a dark period, when you're in a difficult season, when you're in a time of waiting, remember that even this has purpose. Even this is part of the pattern. Even this is being woven into something beautiful. You just can't see the full picture yet because you're still in the middle of the weaving. But one day, when you step back, when you see the completed tapestry, you'll understand why every single thread had to be exactly where it was. And until that day comes, until you can see the full picture, you have to walk by faith. You have to trust in the dark. You have to believe when you can't see. You have to know even when you don't understand. And that's not always easy. Faith is simple, but it's not always easy. Because your mind wants explanations. Your ego wants control. Your fear wants guarantees. But faith says, I don't need explanations. I don't need control. I don't need guarantees. I just need to know that I'm being taken care of. I just need to know that there's a higher power at work. I just need to know that it's all going to be okay. And it is all going to be okay. More than okay, it's going to be beautiful. It's going to be worth the wait. It's going to make sense why things had to happen the way they did. You're going to look back and see the divine hand in everything. You're going to recognize the blessings in the difficulties. You're going to appreciate the wisdom you gained from the challenges. You're going to be grateful for the timing, even though it didn't match your preferences. Because you'll see that divine timing protected you, prepared you, and positioned you perfectly for what was coming. So right now, in this moment, I want you to take a deep breath. I want you to feel your body relax. I want you to release the tension you've been holding, the tension in your shoulders from carrying burdens that aren't yours to carry, the tightness in your chest from worrying about things you can't control, the heaviness in your heart from thinking you're alone in this. Let it all go. Just let it go. You don't have to carry it anymore. You were never meant to carry it all yourself. God said, relax, because God wants to carry it for you. The universe wants to support you. Divine intelligence wants to guide you, but you have to let it. You have to get out of the way. You have to stop trying to be in charge of everything. You have to admit that maybe, just maybe, there's a power greater than you that actually knows what it's doing. And when you make that admission, when you surrender to that truth, everything changes. You start to notice the signs. You start to see the synchronicities. You start to feel the support. You start to witness the miracles. Not because they weren't there before, but because you're finally paying attention. You're finally looking with the eyes of faith instead of the eyes of fear. And what you look for, you find. When you look for evidence that you're alone and unsupported, you'll find it. When you look for evidence that you're guided and loved, you'll find that too. So choose what you're looking for. Choose what you're focusing on. Choose what you're believing in. Believe that you are divinely guided. Believe that you are infinitely loved. Believe that you are being prepared for something wonderful. Believe that your prayers are being answered. Believe that your dreams are on their way. Believe that your life is unfolding perfectly. Believe that you are exactly where you need to be. Believe that everything is working out for your highest good. Not because you can prove it, not because you can see it yet, but because belief is what creates the reality. Faith is what opens the door. Trust is what allows the blessings to flow. And when the doubts come, because they will come, don't fight them. Don't judge yourself for having them. Just notice them and choose again. Choose faith over fear. Choose trust over worry. Choose peace over anxiety. It's a choice you have to make moment by moment, day by day. Nobody can do it for you. But every time you make that choice, it gets a little easier. Every time you choose trust, you strengthen that muscle. Every time you choose peace, you create more space for good to enter your life. You are not a victim of circumstances. You are a creator of your reality. But you create through your consciousness, not through your effort. You create through your vibration, not through your struggle. You create through your alignment with divine intelligence, not through your separation from it. And alignment comes from relaxation, from trust, from surrender. It comes from being instead of doing. It comes from faith instead of force. So be patient with yourself, be gentle with yourself, be kind to yourself. You're doing the best you can with what you know right now, and that's enough. You are enough. Right now, exactly as you are. You are enough. You don't have to achieve anything else to be worthy. You don't have to become someone else to be lovable. You don't have to wait until everything is perfect to be happy. You can be all of those things right now. You can experience worthiness right now. You can feel love right now. You can choose happiness right now. Because happiness is not something you find at the end of the journey. Happiness is not the destination. Happiness is the vehicle that takes you to the destination. When you're happy now, when you're grateful now, when you're peaceful now, you attract more things to be happy about, more things to be grateful for, more things that bring you peace. But when you postpone your happiness until your circumstances change, you create a perpetual state of waiting. And life is not about waiting. Life is about living. Right here, right now, in this moment. This is it. This is your life. Not someday when everything works out. Not in the future when you have everything you want. But right now. And right now is pretty good when you really look at it. You're alive. You have another day. You have another chance. You have another opportunity to grow, to love, to give, to experience, to become. That's a gift. That's a blessing. And when you start recognizing the blessings that are already here, more blessings come. Because gratitude is a magnet for good things. So practice gratitude every single day. Not as a technique to get more, but as a way of being, as a way of seeing, as a way of living. Be grateful for what you have while you're waiting for what you want. Be grateful for how far you've come while you're heading toward where you're going. Be grateful for the lessons and the challenges. Be grateful for the growth and the pain. Be grateful for the strength you didn't know you had until you needed it. Be grateful for the resilience you've developed. Be grateful for the wisdom you've gained. Be grateful for this moment, this breath, this life. And in that state of gratitude, in that vibration of appreciation, you'll find that you're already living in abundance. You'll realize that you've been rich all along, just maybe not in the ways you thought. You're rich in experiences. You're rich in relationships. You're rich in opportunities. You're rich in potential. You're rich in life itself. And that's the greatest wealth there is. God said relax because God knows something you're still learning. God knows that everything you need will come to you at exactly the right time. God knows that you are being guided and protected every step of the way. God knows that there's a plan for your life that is more beautiful than anything you could plan for yourself. God knows that you are loved beyond measure. God knows that you are never alone. God knows that you are capable of handling whatever comes. God knows that you are stronger than you think. God knows that you are braver than you believe. God knows that you are more powerful than you realize. And God is asking you to know that too, to trust that too, to live from that truth, to stop doubting yourself, to stop questioning your worth, to stop wondering if you're enough. You are enough. You have always been enough. You will always be enough, not because of what you do or what you achieve or what you accumulate, but because of who you are, because you are a divine creation, because you are a spark of the infinite, because you are loved by the source of all love. So relax into that love, rest in that knowledge, trust in that truth, and let everything else unfold as it will. Do your part, yes. Show up, yes. Take action, yes. But then release the outcome, let go of the timeline, surrender the how, and trust that divine intelligence is handling all the details you can't see. Trust that everything is being arranged on your behalf. Trust that you are being led to your highest good. Trust that the best is yet to come. Your breakthrough is coming. Your answer is coming. Your miracle is coming. Your blessing is coming. Your healing is coming. Your opportunity is coming. Your person is coming. Your moment is coming. It's all coming in divine timing, in perfect timing, in the timing that serves your highest growth and greatest good. And until it arrives, until you see it manifest in your physical reality, live in the knowing that it's already done. Live in the peace that it's already arranged. Live in the joy that it's already on its way. God said, relax. So relax your mind, relax your body, relax your grip on outcomes, relax your need to control, relax your anxiety about the future, relax your regrets about the past, relax into this present moment, relax into trust, relax into faith, relax into love. Relax into the knowing that you are held, you are guided, you are loved, and everything is going to work out beautifully, better than you can possibly think, in ways you couldn't have planned, with timing that is absolutely perfect. Just relax and let it come to you, because it will. It always does. Everything you need comes to you when you're ready to receive it, and your job is simply to stay open, stay trusting, stay grateful, and stay relaxed. That's when the magic happens. That's when the miracles arrive. That's when life becomes the beautiful adventure it was always meant to be. You know, there's something profound happening right now in your life, and you might not even realize it. Every single moment that you spend worrying, stressing, and anxious about tomorrow is a moment that you're missing the miracle of today. And here's what I want you to understand with absolute clarity. Stress is not your natural state. It's not who you are at your core. It's something you've learned, something you've practiced, and most importantly, something you can unlearn. When we talk about what God says, what the universe whispers to us, what that infinite intelligence that created everything is trying to communicate, the message is crystal clear. Stop stressing. But we don't listen, do we? We wake up in the morning, and before our feet even touch the floor, our minds are racing with all the things that could go wrong, all the problems we need to solve, all the responsibilities weighing on our shoulders. And in doing so, we completely miss the point of being alive. Let me tell you something that changed my entire perspective on life. Stress is nothing more than a choice. I know that might sound controversial, and you might be thinking, but you don't understand my situation. You don't know what I'm going through. And you're right, I don't know your specific circumstances. But what I do know is this. Between every event that happens in your life and your response to it, there's a space. In that space lies your power to choose. And stress is simply choosing to believe that things should be different than they are. Think about it for a moment. What is stress, really? It's resistance to what is. It's the gap between your expectations and reality. It's wanting things to be different so badly that you make yourself sick over it. But the divine intelligence that runs through everything, that beating heart within you, that breath that breathes you even when you're asleep, it's saying something different. It's saying trust. It's saying flow. It's saying, I've got this. You see, we live in a world that teaches us to stress. We're taught that if we're not worried, we're not responsible. If we're not anxious, we're not prepared. If we're not stressed, we don't care enough. But that's the biggest lie we've ever been sold. Stress doesn't make you more responsible. It makes you less effective. It clouds your judgment, weakens your immune system, and separates you from the very source of wisdom and creativity that you need to solve your problems. God, the universe, the Tao, whatever name resonates with you for that infinite creative force, is continuously trying to guide you toward peace. But you can't hear the guidance when you're drowning in stress. It's like trying to see the bottom of a lake when you keep throwing rocks into it. You have to let the water settle. You have to stop stirring up all that debris with your worried thoughts and fearful projections. Here's what most people don't understand about stress. It's always about something that either already happened or hasn't happened yet. Think about that. When you're stressed, you're either ruminating about the past or projecting fear into the future. You're never stressed about this exact moment, right here, right now. Because in this moment, as you're reading these words, breathing in and out, you're actually okay. The stress exists in your mind's interpretation of what was or what might be, but never in what is. The divine message is so simple it's almost comical that we miss it. Be here now. Be present. Stop living in the mental construct of past and future and come back to this moment. Because this moment is all you ever have. This moment is where life happens. This moment is where peace resides. This moment is where God meets you. Now, I can already hear some of you saying, but I have real problems. I have bills to pay. I have responsibilities. I have people depending on me. And yes, you do. But stress doesn't pay your bills. Worry doesn't fulfill your responsibilities. Anxiety doesn't help the people who depend on you. In fact, it does the opposite. When you're stressed, you make poor decisions. You snap at the people you love. You miss opportunities because you're too busy worrying to see them. You create the very outcomes you're afraid of because you're operating from a place of fear rather than wisdom. What if I told you that there's a way to handle all of your responsibilities, face all of your challenges, and deal with all of life's difficulties without stress? Would you believe me? Because it's true. You can be responsible without being stressed. You can be prepared without being anxious. You can care deeply without making yourself sick over it. The key is understanding that you are not separate from the creative force that orchestrates the entire universe. The same intelligence that grows your fingernails, beats your heart, and heals your wounds is available to you for every challenge you face. But you block that intelligence when you insist on controlling everything through the force of your worried mind. Stress is a form of arrogance when you really think about it. It's saying, I know better than the universe. I know how things should be. I need to force this outcome because I can't trust the process. But look at nature. Does a tree stress about whether it will have enough leaves? Does a bird worry about where its next meal will come from? Does the sun fret about whether it will rise tomorrow? No. They trust. They flow. They align with the natural rhythm of life. And they flourish. You are part of that same nature. You come from that same source. The divine spark within you is not separate from the divine intelligence that runs everything. When you stress, you're literally working against yourself. You're trying to swim upstream against the current of the universe. And the message from that infinite source is always the same. Turn around. Flow with me. Trust me. Let go. Letting go doesn't mean being passive. It doesn't mean you don't take action. It means you take inspired action rather than desperate action. It means you respond to life rather than react to it. It means you do what you can do in this moment and then release your attachment to the outcome. Because here's the truth. You're not in control of outcomes anyway. You never were. The only thing you control is your response to what is. When you truly accept that, when you really let it sink in, there's this incredible sense of relief. It's like you've been carrying a backpack full of rocks for years, and suddenly you realize you can just set it down. All that stress, all that burden, it's self-imposed. Nobody's making you carry it. You've just convinced yourself that you have to. God's message is that you don't have to. You can choose peace, right now, in this moment, regardless of your circumstances. Because peace is not dependent on your circumstances. Peace is your natural state when you stop resisting what is and align yourself with the flow of life. Let me share something with you about how this works practically. When you have a problem, when you face a challenge, when something happens that you don't like, you have two choices. You can either stress about it, which means you're adding the suffering of resistance to the challenge itself. Or you can accept it, which means you acknowledge what is without making yourself sick over it, and then you take whatever action you can take from a place of clarity and peace. The interesting thing is that the second approach not only feels better, it actually works better. When you're peaceful, you're creative. When you're stressed, you're reactive. When you're trusting, you're open to solutions. When you're anxious, you're blind to opportunities. The universe is always offering you guidance, always presenting you with possibilities, but you can't receive them when you're vibrating at the frequency of stress. Think of it this way. Every cell in your body is listening to your thoughts. Every emotion you feel sends chemical messages throughout your entire system. When you stress, you literally poison yourself. Your body goes into fight or flight mode. Your cortisol levels spike. Your immune system weakens. Your digestion shuts down. Your heart races. Your blood pressure rises. And for what? For a mental construct. For a story you're telling yourself about something that might happen or something that already happened. But when you choose peace, when you trust, when you align with the divine message of letting go, your entire physiology changes. Your parasympathetic nervous system engages, your body heals, your mind clears, your heart opens. And from that state, you're capable of so much more than you ever could be from a state of stress. Now, I want to address something important. Choosing peace doesn't mean you don't care. It doesn't mean you're indifferent. It doesn't mean you're weak. In fact, it's the opposite. It takes tremendous strength to remain peaceful in the face of challenges. It takes real courage to trust when everything in your conditioned mind is screaming at you to worry. It takes genuine power to let go of control and flow with life. The divine is not asking you to be a doormat. It's not telling you to accept abuse or injustice. It's not suggesting you be passive in the face of wrongdoing. What it's saying is that you can stand up for yourself, you can work for change, you can take action, you can pursue your goals, all without the burden of stress. You can be fully engaged in life without being attached to outcomes. You can care deeply without being consumed by anxiety. This is what true freedom looks like. It's not freedom from challenges. It's not freedom from responsibilities. It's freedom from the tyranny of your own worried thoughts. It's freedom from the prison of stress that you've built in your own mind. And here's the beautiful part. The moment you stop stressing, the moment you really let go and trust, things start to shift. Not because you're magically controlling reality, but because you're finally getting out of your own way. You're allowing the infinite intelligence of the universe to work through you instead of constantly blocking it with your anxious interference. I've seen this happen over and over again in my own life and in the lives of countless others. The moment you surrender, the moment you stop trying to force things, the moment you release your white-knuckle grip on how you think things should be, solutions appear, doors open, opportunities arise, help shows up, not always in the way you expected, and not always on your timeline, but always in perfect timing. That's what faith really means. Not blind belief in some distant deity, not hoping that some external force will magically fix your problems, but trusting that the same intelligence that created you, that sustains you, that breathes you is fully capable of guiding you through whatever challenges you face. And that trust, that faith, that surrender is the antidote to stress. You know what's interesting? We stress about things we can't control and neglect the one thing we can control, our state of being. We can't control the economy, but we can control our response to financial challenges. We can't control other people, but we can control how we relate to them. We can't control the past, but we can control what meaning we assign to it. We can't control the future, but we can control the quality of our present moment. And when you really focus on what you can control, which is your inner state, everything else starts to fall into place. Not because you're forcing it, but because you're finally in alignment with the way life actually works. God's message to not stress is really an invitation to come home to yourself, to come home to peace, to come home to the present moment where life actually happens, because you've been living in exile, in the distant lands of past and future, in the foreign territory of what if and if only. And all the while, home has been right here, in this moment, in this breath, in this space of stillness within you. The stress you feel is homesickness. It's the soul's longing for alignment with Source. It's the quiet voice beneath all the noise saying, there's another way. There's peace available. There's trust possible. There's surrender waiting. And every time you choose peace over stress, you're answering that call. You're coming home. Now let me be practical for a moment. How do you actually do this? How do you stop stressing when you've been doing it for so long it feels like second nature? The answer is simpler than you might think, but it requires practice. First, you have to catch yourself in the act of stressing. You have to become aware that you're doing it. Because most of the time, stress is so habitual that we don't even notice we're engaged in it. So, start paying attention. Notice when your shoulders tense up. Notice when your jaw clenches. Notice when your breathing becomes shallow. Notice when your mind starts spinning stories about all the terrible things that could happen. When you catch yourself stressing, don't judge it. Don't stress about stressing. Just notice it. And then ask yourself one simple question. Is this thought helpful? Most of the time the answer will be no. The thought isn't helping you. It's just torturing you. It's just creating suffering where none needs to exist. Once you realize the thought isn't helpful, you can choose a different one. Not a fake positive thought that you don't believe, but simply a more peaceful perspective. Instead of everything is falling apart, try, I'm going through a challenging time and I have the strength to handle it. Instead of, what if this terrible thing happens? Try, I'll deal with whatever comes when it comes. Instead of, I can't handle this, try, I've handled everything so far and I'm still here. This isn't about denying reality or pretending problems don't exist. It's about relating to reality from a place of peace rather than panic. It's about acknowledging challenges without adding the extra layer of stress on top of them. The second practice is breath. Sounds too simple, right? But your breath is the bridge between your body and mind, between your conscious and unconscious, between you and the divine. When you're stressed, your breath becomes shallow and rapid. When you're peaceful, your breath is slow and full. But here's the magic. You can use your breath to shift your state. When you feel stress rising, stop and take 3 slow, full breaths. Breathe in peace. Breathe out stress. Breathe in trust. Breathe out fear. Breathe in the present moment. Breathe out the worried thoughts. The third practice is gratitude. Stress and gratitude cannot coexist in the same moment. It's physiologically impossible. When you're genuinely feeling grateful, stress dissolves. So when you notice yourself spiraling into stress, stop and find 3 things you're grateful for right now. Not things you should be grateful for, but things you actually feel appreciation for in this moment. Maybe it's the warmth of the sun on your skin. Maybe it's the roof over your head. Maybe it's the fact that you're breathing. It doesn't matter how big or small. What matters is the genuine feeling of appreciation. The fourth practice is surrender. This is the big one. This is where the real transformation happens. Surrender means you do everything you can do, and then you let go of the results. It means you take action without attachment to outcome. It means you release your need to control and trust that the universe has your back. Surrender is not giving up. It's giving in to the flow of life. It's saying yes to what is, even when what is isn't what you wanted. It's trusting that even when things don't go according to your plan, they're unfolding, according to a larger intelligence that you can't always see or understand. This is what the divine has been trying to tell you all along. Stop fighting. Stop resisting. Stop trying to control everything. Flow with life, not against it. Trust the process. Have faith in the journey, Believe that you're being guided, even when you can't see where you're going. You see, stress comes from the belief that you're separate and alone, that you have to figure everything out by yourself, that if you don't worry and control and force things to happen, they won't happen. But that's the illusion. The truth is, you're never alone. You're always connected to Source. You're always being guided. You're always supported by an infinite intelligence that loves you and wants the highest good for you. When you really get this, when you really feel it in your bones, stress becomes impossible. Not because your life becomes perfect or challenge-free, but because you know that no matter what happens, you're going to be okay. You know that you have everything you need within you to handle whatever comes. You know that the universe is not against you, but for you. This is the peace that passes understanding. This is the trust that transcends circumstances. This is the faith that moves mountains. And it's available to you right now. Not when your problems are solved. Not when your circumstances improve. Not when you finally get your act together. Right now, in this moment, just as you are. The divine doesn't care about your accomplishments. It doesn't care about your bank account or your job title or your social status. It cares about your alignment with love, with peace, with truth. And every moment you spend in stress is a moment you're out of alignment. Every moment you choose peace is a moment you're coming back home to who you really are. You are not your stress. You are not your worried thoughts. You are not your anxious feelings. Those are just clouds passing through the sky of your awareness. But you are the sky. You are the awareness itself. You are the peaceful presence that exists beneath all the mental noise. You are the eternal witness that watches the drama of life without being consumed by it. When you identify with your true nature instead of your temporary thoughts and feelings, stress loses its power over you. You can watch your mind spin its worried stories without believing them. You can feel anxiety arise without identifying with it. You can acknowledge challenges without being overwhelmed by them. This is spiritual maturity. This is what it means to be awake. This is the freedom that every spiritual tradition points toward. And the gateway to it is simply letting go of stress, choosing peace, trusting life, surrendering control. Now, I want you to understand something crucial. This is not something you do once and you're done. This is a practice. This is a daily, moment-by-moment choice. Because your mind has been conditioned for years, maybe decades, to stress. It's going to take time to retrain it. It's going to take patience with yourself. It's going to take commitment to choosing peace again and again, even when stress feels more familiar. But every time you choose peace, you're strengthening that neural pathway. Every time you let go, you're making it easier to let go next time. Every time you trust, you're building your trust muscle. And eventually, peace becomes your default instead of stress. Surrender becomes natural instead of forced. Trust becomes automatic instead of a struggle. This is the transformation that's available to you. This is what happens when you finally listen to what God has been telling you all along. Stop stressing. Let go. Trust. Flow. Be at peace. And the beautiful irony is that when you stop trying to control everything, when you release the stress and choose peace, your life actually works better. Things flow more smoothly. Solutions appear more easily. Relationships improve. Health returns. Joy bubbles up. Creativity flourishes. Not because you're forcing anything, but because you're finally getting out of the way and letting life move through you. This is how you were meant to live. Not in constant stress and struggle, but in peace and flow. Not fighting against life, but dancing with it. Not white-knuckling your way through each day, but moving gracefully through whatever comes. You are supported. You are guided. You are loved. The entire universe is conspiring on your behalf. But you have to let it. You have to stop blocking the blessings with your stress. You have to open your hands and release the death grip you have on trying to control everything. When you do, when you really surrender, you'll discover something amazing. The things you were stressing about either work out on their own, or they don't matter as much as you thought they did, or they lead to something even better than you could have planned. Because the universe has a bigger vision for your life than you do. It sees possibilities you can't see. It knows connections you don't know. It's orchestrating synchronicities you're not aware of. Your job is not to figure it all out. Your job is not to worry it into existence. Your job is to show up, do your part, and trust the process. That's it. That's all that's required of you. Show up with your best effort, contribute what you can contribute, and then let go of the results. This is the divine partnership. You do your part, and the universe does its part. But when you stress, you're trying to do both parts. You're trying to be both the actor and the director of your life. And it's exhausting, and it doesn't work. Because you can't see the whole play, you can only see your scene. The universe sees the entire production, and it's orchestrating everything perfectly. So relax, breathe, trust. Know that you are exactly where you need to be, learning exactly what you need to learn, becoming exactly who you need to become. Even the challenges, especially the challenges, are part of your perfect unfolding. Stress tells you that something is wrong. Peace reminds you that everything is happening for you, not to you. Stress says you're behind, you're not enough, you need to do more, be more, have more. Peace says you're right on time, you're enough right now, and everything you need will come when you need it. Which voice will you listen to? Which message will you align with? The choice is yours in every moment, and it's the most important choice you'll ever make. Because the quality of your life is determined by the quality of your inner state, not your outer circumstances. You can have everything the world says you should want and still be miserable if you're choosing stress. Or you can have very little and be deeply fulfilled if you're choosing peace. The external world is neutral. It's your internal response that creates your experience. So change your response. Choose differently when stress arises, and it will meet it with awareness. Thank it for trying to protect you, because that's what it thinks it's doing. And then gently redirect your attention to peace, to trust, to surrender, to the present moment where everything is actually okay. Do this again and again and again. Make it your practice, make it your priority, make it your path. Because this is not just about feeling better, though you will feel better. This is about aligning with truth. This is about living in harmony with the way life actually works. This is about coming into partnership with the divine intelligence that created you and sustains you. And when you do this, when you really commit to choosing peace over stress, something miraculous happens. Your entire life begins to transform. Not because you're trying to make it transform, but because you're finally in alignment with the transformative power that's been there all along, waiting for you to get out of the way. This is your invitation. This is your calling. This is what you came here to learn and to be. A peaceful presence in a chaotic world. A trusting soul in a fearful time. A surrendered being in a controlling culture. The world needs your peace. It needs you to stop stressing and start trusting. It needs you to be the example of what's possible when you align with the divine message. Because your peace is contagious, your trust is inspiring, your surrender is revolutionary. So hear it now, really hear it. God says to not stress. The universe whispers, let go. Your soul knows, peace is your natural state. Your heart understands, trust is the answer. And in this moment, right here, right now, you can choose it. Choose peace, choose trust, choose surrender. Choose the message that's been offered to you since the beginning of time. Stop stressing, start living, start flowing, start being who you really are underneath all the worry and fear. You are peace itself pretending to be stressed. You are trust itself pretending to doubt. You are divine love itself pretending to be afraid. But the pretending can stop now. The act can end now. The truth can be revealed now. You don't need to stress. You never did. You just thought you did because everyone around you was doing it. But you're awake now. You know better now. You can choose differently now. And when you do, when you really release the burden of stress and step into the freedom of peace, you'll wonder why you carried that weight for so long. You'll marvel at how simple it is to just let go and trust. You'll laugh at how seriously you took it all, how much energy you wasted trying to control the uncontrollable. But don't judge yourself for it. You were doing the best you could with the awareness you had. Now you have new awareness. Now you have a different choice. Now you can walk a different path. The path of peace, the path of trust, the path of surrender, the path of alignment with the divine message that says, stop stressing. I've got this. You're safe. You're loved. You're supported. Everything is working out for your highest good. Relax into that knowing. Rest in that truth. Live from that place. This is freedom. This is joy. This is what you've been searching for all along. Not in some future accomplishment or external acquisition, but right here, right now, in the simple choice to not stress, to trust instead, to surrender and allow life to unfold as it will. Welcome home to yourself. Welcome home to peace. Welcome home to the truth of who you are. And from this place, live your life. Not perfectly, but peacefully. Not without challenges, but without stress. Not knowing all the answers, but trusting in the process. This is enough. You are enough. This moment is enough. Let go of everything else. Be here now. Be at peace. And watch how your life transforms when you finally stop fighting and start flowing with the river of existence that's been carrying you all along, waiting for you to relax and enjoy the ride.